Hey guys, it's Lena here. Happy to see you guys. It's been a moment. I haven't been on for, I think it's been about a month, so kind of crazy. Yeah, as you can see, I moved, so that's what's happening here. We're in a new place, new, fresh beginnings. It's very exciting. But yeah, I'm really excited to present a special guest with us today. You guys know them from our stream earlier this year as Tree, I believe, right? Tree from Olio and Tree. So come and join me, give them a warm welcome. And this is Devin, also known as Devin Henderson. Yeah. And then also known as Soopurkul on Twitch. So give them a warm welcome. So many monikers. All right. Let me put you on mute here. Hi.
Hi. Oh, they couldn't hear me.
No.
They couldn't hear me. I'm so sorry. Yes. Hi. I'm Devin. I'm here today representing myself.
Yeah.
not any of the other projects that I do. Yeah. That is the problem with being a creative is that staying in your lane. Staying in your lane is tough.
No, I relate to that though. Like, I just picked up chainmail making, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, you make chainmail," and I'm like, "Yes, I make chainmail, but I also do this and this and this and this and this."
Yeah, absolutely. And my name when I'm making chainmail is Elena.
Yeah.
And my name when doing music is Glass Factory, and my name.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Leo, thanks for the sub. 21 months. Woo! How are you doing, Leo? Hope you're doing well.
2 years.
Yeah, it's Leo's an OG. Is that what you call it? Is that what the kids call it? OG?
An OG, an OG. Yeah, an original gangster. I think you have to say it though. You have to say the whole thing.
I have to say the whole thing.
Yeah, really let them know how old you are.
I'm not that old.
That's old enough to know what an OG is.
I guess so.
No, for sure.
But yeah,
Devin comes on to the interview immediately calls the interviewer old.
I'm in my 20s still. I hope I look like that.
Oh my God, so young. You're so young. So many wonderful years ahead of you.
So many years. I hope people don't go, "Oh, what an old soul. I thought you were in your mid-30s.
No. God, the old soul thing is such a backhanded compliment. People simultaneously saying, "You're so wise and well spoken and well thought out," and also saying like, "You do not appear the age that you are." Like, thanks.
Yeah, no, I've gotten that literally my whole life, and I passed off as an adult when I was like 15 because I went to college when I was 15. So I actually literally had to pretend to be an adult to be able to be treated normally.
College at 15?
I did.
What did you study?
I just got an associate's degree with my diploma, so my high school diploma.
That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's a notch on the resume.
Yeah, that's so rad. So oh my God, it's not. I gotta. Like,
no, ask questions. We're having a convo. This is more like podcast vibes.
So like, you did your associate's degree at the same time that you did your high school diploma. Did you move on to do a bachelor's degree, or did you go into the workforce?
Yeah, I got my bachelor's when I was 20. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I did English lit, so that's where the journalism comes in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you do any post-grad studies?
Not really. I studied abroad.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God, where did you go when you studied abroad?
Rome.
This is awesome.
I did the poem things in Rome. Yeah. I got to play a little poet in Rome and write poetry and all that. I talk about it all day, all the time.
I love that. I love that so much. And I imagine this poetry is published and purchasable somewhere.
No, but I did make a poetry book and publish it when I wanted to do it before I turned 18, so I did.
I love that.
I'm making myself sound like this prodigy. I was just bored and didn't have friends.
No, yeah. No. I mean, it's not even that. It's just like, because like people take AP classes in high school, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those aren't college courses, but they count as college courses.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Yeah, instead of doing that, that's what I did. They had a program in my state called Running Start, and I just went to the college instead of doing AP.
Right.
So,
Yeah, because there are
you
places
know,
that do this, right? And they allow you to start taking classes, at
yeah,
like 14 or 15 years old,
yeah.
so that you can get some real college credits, and of course probably on the cheap too, which is like
Yeah,
that's
no,
gotta
I
be
didn't have
part
to
of the
pay for it
benefit.
because it was high school it was college equivalent, so it was basically like taking AP classes, and I got the full 90
Yeah.
credits to transfer.
Oh, that's so
So
good.
there's some
That's
like
so good.
crossover there. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's the way to do it. That's the way to get it. Get it. You get your GEs out of the way. You take some specific topical classes, and then you can go into a bachelor's degree and get it done so fast.
right.
Um, that's so good. Yo, Minty, welcome in. Great timing. Just picked up shawarma. Yum. Soup's audio is a little low.
I just turned you up.
Hike me up.
Cranked you up. Cranked you up. Hope
I
that's good.
I'm going to endeavor to not talk any louder than this because my wife is also streaming just upstairs.
Oh, okay. Shout
So
out,
we're
Super
gonna
Kaylin. Hey,
Super
Minty,
Kaylin,
thanks for the
Super Kaylin.
follow.
Almost
How do you
sounds
spell
super
Super Kaylin again? Is it S-O-O?
No, it's Super.
Okay, just
and then the
checking.
name. Yeah, Kaelyn. Her first name is the hard one to spell.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, no, Twitch is just super rude for sure.
Twitch is super rude. What do you mean?
Minty says, I came in here last time you did a Soups interview. I thought I followed rude. Yeah, because Minty asked a whole bunch of really fun and cool questions about like religion and processing religion.
Okay, yes, that's correct. So yes, I remember you, Minty, but also I've seen you in the chat because I've been lurking in Soup and Soup's channels. So I'm just like, oh, familiar face, yay! Oh.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Hi, Fetal. Welcome in.
Welcome in, Fetal. Thanks for the follow.
How's commission writing going? Commission drawing.
Commission drawing. Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. Fetal is the one who did. Oh man, we can just like wrap it right in. Fetal is the one who did the album artwork for As Time Passed for the album.
Ooh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, if you like the art on that, you like Fetal art. Fetal art is
really good. Yeah.
It's
Wait.
One of my favorite artists on the planet. Actually.
Oh my goodness. That's exciting.
Yeah, pull it up. Show the
people
the
Let
album
me pull it
artwork.
up. Let's see if it works, because it's, Twitch hates me. Discord hates me. Everything hates me. Everything's working. It's fine.
The technology is fighting itself.
We get things working. We are powerful people. Okay. Wow, it's not even recognizing it. Oh, it's a ping file. That's why. You gave me a ping.
Yeah, PNG.
Oh. How am I going to do this? I was just going to upload the image.
Just drag and drop it from whatever folder you have it saved in. Drag and drop it directly onto OBS.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
If you're running, if you're running the most recent version of OBS, it'll do that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I've been streaming for almost 10 years. 10
okay,
years
guys, you can see it probably. It just took over the whole screen. Woo!
There's the album artwork. Fetal,
it looks so good.
Album artwork. Yeah, I came to Fetal with a like somewhat loose concept for what I wanted the album artwork to look like, and just was like, it's like my I love working with artists and giving them a basic idea and just being like, just do it in your style. Like, go run with this. I want you to express yourself. Like, here's the album. Listen to the album. Be inspired by the music, and then make the thing that you want to make. And like, ultimately, if it ends up a little different than my vision originally was, like, that's wonderful. I love that. That's why you work with other creatives. That's why you don't just make it yourself, because then you get that unique perspective. And I think that that's really, really valuable. And also, I want to show off Fetal's art. And me trying to pigeonhole Fetal into like a corner of doing an art style is not going to be a good show of their art. So,
well, it looks great. It turned out great. While we're talking about it. Yeah, while we're talking about it though, as time passes, you just released the release date and the pre-order link on Bandcamp, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So the pre-orders just started today. I literally published it this morning. I have to give you a huge shout out because I've been sitting on this album for a while. It's been like like 90% done for
Mm.
like 4 or 5 months. And just like in, not wanting to compete with airwaves for Oleo and Tree, and the just general busyness of life. Like I've sort of been like, putting it off and sort of like maybe I'll write a couple more songs for it and make it a little bit more of a robust album because it's 9 tracks, right? Which isn't like a super long album. It's not a short album, but it's not a super long album. And like so I was hemming and hawing about it a lot. And so you hit me up to come and do this, to fill this spot. And I thought, okay, here's a good opportunity to give this album, give As Time Passed, it's sort of its own space, its own air. And like it's good timing because I think when we were talking about it, this stream was going to be like a month and a half away, which was like, okay, cool. I can contact Fetal, get the album artwork done, get it into the publishing process, and hopefully have some semblance of a link to give you by today. So yes, pre-release just started today. If you go and you purchase the album on my Bandcamp, it's $7. You get 2 tracks immediately. You get the first 2 tracks,
Cool.
Mixed or Bright Side, and One More Day. You get them both immediately, and then when the album comes out in full on September the 6th, you can immediately download the rest of the album on Bandcamp if you pre-order it today. You just get it. You'll get an email when it's fully released, and you can go and you can download it from my Bandcamp directly. It'll also be out on September 6th on all of the regular streaming platforms. You can expect it on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music.
That's awesome.
All of the YouTube,
all the places,
all of those places, on September the 6th. So you guys are, because of Helena and because of Glass Factory, you all are getting a little nifty, like 2 songs early if you wanna shoot me a couple of bucks. The first 2 songs, Mixed or Bright Side and One More Day, are both basically love songs that I wrote about my wife, my partner. Mixed or Bright Side is a song that is mostly about like having a companion and the joys of having someone who's like always right there for you. And then One More Day is a song that's about wanting to be around someone, about wanting them to be in your space, enjoying their vibe, enjoying who they are, and basking in the sort of like, again, basking in the joy of having that person who's with you, whether it's what it really is, whether it's a romantic partner or a friend or any of that kind of stuff. I will say that there are a couple of songs on the album that are like directly romantic, but it is definitely more open-ended than just like my partner specifically.
Yeah, well, I love how you shared that right away too, because I was gonna ask about some of the concepts. You know me, so I had to ask a little bit about it. But now I get to give you like a general vibe that I got from it. I got to listen to it earlier on your stream, but I also listened to it off stream a little bit earlier. I just definitely got like that warm, happy summer vibe, for sure, and I really liked that. So yeah, other than like the themes that you just talked about, what inspired the creation of it in the first place? Were you just hoping to do something like just warm, sunny, summery?
I most often write, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I try really hard to be a pretty honest songwriter. I find that more people connect with a song when it's written honestly, when it's written and like specifically, so this, it's got a fun story. The beginning of this album, I wrote the first 2 songs in an afternoon, and not the first 2 songs on the album, but rather the first 2 songs for the album, which I believe were One More Day was the very first song that I wrote for the album, and then In the Morning was the second song that I wrote for the album. It's sort of in like the timeline of production. I had just come off of releasing Buskin', which was my big album from last year. So I was coming off of the back of that sort of, like, I released that album and it really connected with people and people were really enjoying it. And of course they were streaming it a lot, which is always a nice ego boost. Like I went from having, like 800 or 1,000 monthly listeners on Spotify to having like 9,000 or 10,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. It's a pretty huge leap for me. so I was feeling that energy, that positive energy was coming. I recorded and wrote those songs, and specifically the vocals for those songs, about a week and a half after I had gotten vocal surgery.
Hmm.
I had had a vocal node on my vocal
Oh,
cords.
wow.
I'd had a node on my vocal cords, which was preventing me from like literally talking like regular conversational talking for more
Wow.
than like an hour or two a day. And I had been struggling with that vocal node for probably a year and a half.
Hmm.
So I went and I got the surgery. The surgery went super, super well. Obviously, you can hear me talking now. The surgery went super, super well. So I was also coming off of the back of that, where I was sort of thinking like, awesome, I get to like test out this new voice that I have. I mean, I was just really in this positive mental space when I started writing the album. And I just like at some point, like 5 tracks into writing the album was like, this album's going to be mostly like, it felt mostly positive. It felt
Hmm.
like all like warm, kind, fun, summery vibes for sure. Um, uh, and and sort of the influence of what was going on in my life was definitely a big part of that. Bringing in the joy of releasing music and having it be well received, the joy of regaining this facility that I had been missing for like a year and a
Yeah.
half, was definitely very influential on the topics of that. And then like my wife standing by me through every single little bit of that,
Hmm.
all of the struggle of the vocal stuff, all of the work in developing Buskin as an album and going on that trip with me, which was like a 31-day road trip across the United
Wow.
States. So like just having her beside me all that time, it was just that's really the big inspiration for this album, for the majority of the album.
So much to pick from all that, but the most
Yeah.
immediate thing that I'm gonna remember is tour. You mentioned touring. How did you like it?
Yeah.
Was it your first tour? Well, like, tell me about it. I want to know.
Yeah, so let me tell you about Buskin. So Buskin is an album that I released in 2023, in September. Actually, I'm going to be releasing. Now that I think about it, As Time Passed is going to be coming out like a day or two before the anniversary of
Wow.
Buskin. Totally unintentional. I was just trying to schedule it as soon as possible, but not overlapping with my new Oat single that's releasing. Um, this is the life of a person with too
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
projects. um, and so yeah, so Buskin is this album. The whole idea of Buskin, the concept behind Buskin, was that I was gonna write a bunch of acoustic singer-songwriter, very basic instrumentation, like one guitar, one piano, and voices, and that's it. And because it's very different from everything else that I've written, which has been, lots and lots of instruments, lots and lots of production. Doing a lot of it live on stream. Um, so what I wanted to do with Buskin is I wanted to take my piano and my guitar and pile it all into a car, and instead of recording the album in my little studio at home over long distance with people over Discord, I wanted to go and see them in person. I wanted to go and record with them in person, go and sing with them in person, because there is some magic to recording live with another human being,
Hmm.
that you miss when you're recording at a distance.
Yeah.
Having done a little bit of both in my life. So it wasn't a tour in the traditional, like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna play a bunch of shows sense. It was a tour in the, I'm going to go and meet a bunch of these people who I've met online, sometimes for the first time, many times for the second or third time. And we're gonna record this album together in like all of these different Airbnbs that I had rented, or in people's homes. Like, we in Soups's house, we recorded 2 of the tracks that are on that album. But a lot of the album was not written, rather, recorded in like Airbnbs around the United States and some of Canada.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, I spent 31 days. We started in San Diego, where I live, where I'm based. We drove all the way up to Vancouver, and then all the way across. I came back down into the United States, all the way across to like Indiana and Michigan. We went up into the sort of Toronto area, and up and across, sort of like through the northern. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember where the northernmost area of Canada we went to was, but it's not coming to me. We went across to New York City, where we did the photo shoot with Ushlu, who's a wonderful, incredible
We
photographer.
love Ushlu.
We love Ush so much. She is so great, and her photos really defined, that album. I feel like she really did a fantastic job capturing the feeling of that album. New York City, after New York City, we sort of traveled, we swooped back down south through Texas, and then west from Texas back to California. It took us 31 days. We recorded, I think it was 16 tracks over the course of those 31 days, with nine different featured vocalists, as well as the Yeehaw fam, which is everybody who was in Texas. We did a gang vocal, we did a group vocal.
Oh, that's cool.
From Texas. Oh, it was so rad. There's a spot in the very first track on that album.
That's so cool.
I love talking about Buskin. You'll
Buskin's
never
really
shut
cool.
me up about Buskin.
No, I wanted to hear a little bit about it because, like, this is your next chapter. We're talking about your next chapter, which honestly it changed gears genre-wise so much. So I want to break that down. First off, why?
I love EDM. I love EDM. I would say that in the perspective of what I typically write, Buskin was the foray into the different, and as time passed is the foray back into what I usually do.
Okay, interesting.
So like the two big albums that I released before I released Buskin were What Changed in 2021. I'm like trying to remember the timeline. Yeah. In 2021, which is an EDM album, like very classic, like house techno.
Oh, okay.
Like 120 beats per minute, like really like straight down the line. Is my first album that I ever released. It was 8 tracks long. I'm super proud of What Changed. I still go back and I listen to it, and I'm really proud of it. Which I think is a really nice thing to be able to say. The next big album that I released is called Moments in Memoir. Moments in Memoir was the first album that I ever wrote that was just me. I didn't feature anybody else. I didn't bring in any other artists. I didn't get any other second opinions. I just sat in my studio and I wrote what I wanted to write whenever I wanted to write it, and I put it together in that album. I think that album is 13 tracks. That album is like my little personal masterpiece, and I don't care if no one else likes it. No one else has to. I love it. It's my favorite.
That's all that matters, though.
Yeah. It is a big important part of making art, is making art that matters to you, for sure. And that album is more experimental, electronic, a little less straightforward. It's definitely got some like, it's got some trap vibes. It's got some like sort of house vibes, but it also has a couple of tracks that a little bit more amorphous, that are a little bit more genre crossing. Definitely just did a lot of experimenting. I was in my experimental phase. Really like producing noises and sounds and music that interested me from like an intellectual standpoint as well as a musical standpoint. So like on the scale of listenability, I feel like What Changed is like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Like really like consonant, fun, danceable music. Moments in Memoir is probably somewhere in the 4 to 6 zone, depending on how much you like, experimental, avant-garde electronic music. There's like some chiptune in there, so that brings it up a little bit. But then there's also a track that just like literally ends in static noise, so like, brings it down to a 4 a little bit there. And then Buskin came out. And Buskin is like, folksy singer-songwriter vibes.
Right. That's how I like got to know your music as Devin Henderson. So I was like very surprised by this particular one as time passed. Right. So I was like,
you're like, what's
happening?
Yeah. And I think that your experience is going to be a lot of people's experience with my music, because Buskin is really the way that I met a vast majority of my audience. And I wonder thank you, Minty. Yeah, you got it, Minty. Also, hi, Tori, by the way, hi. Conquering each genre like Infinity Stones. Yeah, put them on my gauntlet. Yeah. I'm gonna snap and I'll just evaporate myself, don't worry. I think that a lot of people are in your shoes, where they will have heard my music for the first time as a singer-songwriter, folky kind of instrumentalist, and like the albums, I've put out a couple of little EPs, things that I've written for challenges on stream, this year. Like one of them is a ska album. One of them is like a very varied genre album that I wrote in 2000 minutes. But those are like challenge, right? I was doing those as a
Right.
like bit on Twitch. It's a little different than releasing an album that you've worked on for over a year and you've really thought about and you've really put effort into. And I do worry as a business person,
Right.
that people are going to be turned off by the fact that I am not going to put out. I mean, I do actually have plans to put out another Buskin style album because I really enjoyed doing that. But I do worry sometimes that I'm going to lose audience to, oh, is this all that they've done that's like this? Okay, I guess
I
I'll
don't
just keep
know.
listening to Buskin.
I think if people like follow you on Twitch and follow you on all your other stuff, I don't think it's gonna really matter too much because they're following you as a personality. And speaking
Totally.
as somebody who like does a lot, I'm finding out that the more that I expand and the more that I like discover and do what I want to do, the more people are like following me for me versus what I'm
Right.
doing, which is really cool. So I feel like
Totally.
maybe that could be a similar thing or a similar sentiment,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
I do ultimately agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
the where the business and branding part of my brain goes, no, do one thing.
Yeah. Well, everybody wants you to do one thing, especially with like an algorithm. So we don't have to go there, but we could totally go there.
Well, I mean, we totally can go there. Absolutely. I mean, Buskin is still far and away my best performing album because it hit the algorithm really well.
Yeah.
Like people really connected with some of those songs. And like I still get, even a year later, like thousands and thousands of listens to like 3 or 4 of those songs specifically. But yeah, like just to come back to the point that you're making, absolutely, people are coming to me for my personality and for what I am saying in my music more than they are coming to me for he plays acoustic guitar and sings like Johnny Cash. You know, like that's not what they're here for. They're here for the message. They're here for the person more than they're here for the genre.
Yep.
And bless them for thinking that.
Yeah. And I think that's becoming more and more of a thing. I think more people are getting tired of the algorithm too. And they're just wanting to follow people for people and not what their algorithm is. Also, hi Kaplans. Just wanted to say hi since you popped in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Minty says, the last 2 albums really covering the queer spectrum, though. Folksy music with your besties about love and hardship. Then electronic boppy dance tunes about being in love and community. Yeah, totally. I am through and through a queer musician, and I am going to write as myself.
Yeah.
I can't get away from that. And if my music comes out as just a little bit queer, that's probably just me being honest.
Yeah, just being true to yourself. And I mean, who can say otherwise? And like, you gotta be true to yourself no matter what.
Right, exactly. Totally. Yeah, and hopefully that empowers someone else to go and do it.
Yeah,
That's
for
my
sure.
heart.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing all that. I appreciate that.
Oh
Yeah.
God, of course, please ask me more questions about Busk. I love Busk so much with my whole heart. Listen, and I also love As Time Passed. So like, feel free to ask me questions about that too.
As Time Passed, you wrote before you came across Oleo and Tree, but Oleo and Tree and As Time Passed seem like they also kind of came around the same time. So do you want to talk about a little bit about that journey?
Yes, I have been referring to As Time Passed as the proto-oat. I was writing As Time Passed in like September, October of 2023. That's where like when it all started. That was like the end of Buskin. I was just coming home. I had just gotten vocal cord surgery. And I started writing these tracks and I was sharing them on stream and people were really into the vibes, which I'm again so grateful for. And I love featuring people on my music. That's like one of my favorite things to do, is to bring people, especially people who don't think of themselves as like recording artists particularly.
Right.
I love being like, you have a really nice voice. Like, let's feature you on a track. Why not? That's fun. That's cool. Like, and then you get to be really proud of that. And that gets to live on Spotify and everywhere for as long as, you know, you enjoy having it there. So like I'm always reaching out to people and being like, hey, I've heard you sing on stream before. I think you have a really nice voice. Let's work together. Hey, you know, so on and so forth. And one of my constant partners and collaborators in making music together is Ilea. And so when I was making this album, I was like, hey, I'd love, like, let's do We did a track on What Changed, my very first album, called Parasite, which is in this kind of EDM space. Like, let's do it again. Let's create another, not another Parasite, but like, let's create another song in this genre. I feel like we really mesh well in this genre. And Ilea was so stoked and was like, yes, I've been listening to a ton of whatever you call this genre. I've been listening to a ton of Postal Service. I've been listening to a ton of Frofro. I've been listening to a ton of Imogen Heap. Like, I've been listening to Kenya Grace. I've been listening to, Sylvan Esso. Like, I've been loving this genre of music. Like, let's make a song together for your album. And that let's make a song together for your album very, very quickly turned into let's do a project together. Because I've been wanting to get out of solo producing and solo writing and into a sort of like band mental state. That's been something that I have been chasing after for a little bit, just like trying to find the right people to do it with. So as time passed, really is the reason that Oleo and Tree exists. In fact, there's one track, it's called Long Way Home. It's the 8th track on the album. Uses almost all of the same writing techniques and producing techniques that I use in Oleo and Tree. It was almost like it was a practice track.
Yeah.
I wrote it and I was like, I really like the way that I did the drums here. And I really like the song structure here. Like, cool. And then we started Oleo and Tree and I was like, I'm just going to keep doing that for Oleo and Tree. And
it works really well.
Tree, yeah, it came out of that. It does work really well. And actually I do the specifically, like, if nerd out about it for a second, if you're a producer, if you're a music maker, especially in a digital audio workstation in a DAW, I have found, for me, someone who I don't consider myself to be very good at programming drums or finger drumming, I have found it really, really useful to actually drag the individual one shots into the project and lay them out meticulously rather than trying to play them in. It takes like so much longer.
Why do you do that to yourself?
But the level of detail that you can get instead of a drum beat going boom pa boom boom pa boom boom pa boom boom pa, it can be boom pa to boom to boom. And it's just got like all these little like tasty details that you can you can get in there because you're cutting a sample in half instead of letting it play the whole way through. Or you're layering 2 hi-hats in one particular beat and not in the next beat. It's just like and for some reason, visually and arrangementally, that works for me. What inspired Buskin?
Yeah.
Oh,
I wanna know. That's a good question.
What inspired Buskin? I was like, do I remember? I do. I had a friend. This is gonna get a little sad.
Oh no, that's okay.
Bear with me. I had a friend who did some very, very unkind things and said some very unkind things and tried very, very hard to publicly defame me because I disagreed with something that he did. And so I remember going into my room later that night and into my bedroom. I was just like taking some time to be alone and sit with my thoughts. And I pulled out my acoustic guitar and I wrote the song. I think that the song is called The Only Guaranteed Thing in Life, maybe? No, it's called The Rain. It was originally called The Only Guaranteed Thing in Life, but it's called The Rain if you've listened to the song The Rain. Tori knows. Tori knows because it had to do with Tori. The sharpest tack in chat. The song The Rain on Buskin was the first song that I wrote for the album. And I just remember finishing that song on acoustic guitar and going like, there is space here for me to tell stories that I find to be so important to tell, in a way that I'm not being able to tell in the electronic space. I feel like in the electronic space for me at that time, I was telling big, grandiose stories. I was talking about big concepts and not little specific stories and concepts. And so like I wrote that song and I remember thinking like, I want to do a little bit more of this. Like this is different than what I usually do. It allows me to share a perspective and an experience in a more specific, more personal way. that I think is really important, and it really did lead the way to songs like the three songs in the middle that are about leaving the church and leaving religion. The Pew and Two Voices and I Will Walk, there in the middle, are very, very personal to me. And like
Okay.
I will even say that like Two Voices is a song that I needed when I was 25 or 26 that I
Mm.
didn't have. Um, until 7 years later when we wrote it, when Ilea and I wrote it. And I feel like it's a very important song to exist. And it wouldn't have existed if I hadn't come on this, like, if I hadn't had this really, really hard time that I then wrote music about, that I then decided to write more music about. So really the inspiration of Buskin is this distilling of big ideas into small stories and being able to tell those small stories. And Buskin is filled with small stories, whether they are exciting and fun and happy, which some of them are. I promise they're not all sad. But also like very important, very raw stories like Two Voices about leaving organized religion, stories like The Rain about losing friendship, losing close friendship and really brotherhood.
Mm.
And that's going to happen in life, and that's okay
Right.
because you'll get through it. Sometimes you have to just stand in the rain. And also songs like The Capitalist Lament, which is like, why the fuck do I have to get up on a Monday morning to go to work? It's early and I'm tired. It's Buskin's got that. So
That's cool.
if you haven't gone and listened to Buskin, I have to plug it. Go and listen to Buskin. It's really an amazing, incredible journey. It's 17 tracks. It's a ton of music. So
Yeah,
take some
you
time.
seem like you covered a lot, especially since you traveled the whole country
Yeah.
to make it. And
Yeah.
that makes it a little extra
Right.
special. But
It's so nice. I feel
Yeah.
so lucky that I got to do that. I raised money on stream to do that for like the better part of a year and a half. I feel like we were raising for Buskin for a long time.
wow.
Um, Minty asks, you mentioned before that being out is relatively new for you around 2021. Yeah. I came out as non-binary and queer at the beginning of 2021. Is there a clear shift in your music in regards to that as well? Like any
It's a good
song
question.
album where it's clear? This was something you were working through, like with Buskin and some of the deconstruction songs, if this makes sense. No, that's a good question.
It's a really good question.
What changed? What changed is my coming out album. uh, I didn't. All of the writing that I did before I released What Changed was writing that I was doing either in a band. I had a ska band when I was in high school, which I don't think that counts. in not that ska doesn't count, not that being in a ska band in high school doesn't count, but I was in high school and we were really not writing anything about anything. To be fair, we were writing about having a girlfriend, like
Yeah.
and then after that, the only other group that I was really writing music for was a religious group, was a group of Christians in a Christian band, and we were writing songs for Christian reasons.
Right.
So like, is there a change in what I write songs about? I suppose. Yeah, I suppose you guys will never hear those songs. Those songs are neatly hidden away. They don't exist on any streaming platforms. We recorded scratch. We recorded scratch for those songs, and then we never released them, and they just sit in a folder somewhere.
Oh gosh.
So anyways, 150 subs, and I'll play one of those songs.
150 subs. I feel like it would be higher than that.
But yeah, what changed? What changed really is the like coming out album. I'm reminded specifically of two songs off of that album, which I think are actually the last two albums. Drive and oh god, what's the name of that song? I released it in 2021. I don't remember anything. I don't remember what these are called. It's the last two tracks on the album. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna
What
do
day
them
is
really
it?
fast.
Yeah, it's like what day is it? Who am I? What song did I write?
Oh my gosh, what did I have for breakfast this morning?
Yeah.
Shine and bounce. I won't argod you in a guest. Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate that. Drive and Shine and Bounce. Drive is a song about breaking through barriers and finding the energy to move forward and be the person that you want to be. And Shine and Bounce is the change song. The chorus, which this was a really cool thing that I got to do because I'm a streamer and I had a community of people who were supporting me in this, is I sent this chorus out to the community and I said, go on your phone in your car and record yourself singing this chorus, and I'll layer all of our voices and we will have a chorus together on this song. So the chorus on Shine and Bounce, the very last chorus, has like 30 or 40 people from that time, which is just so cool and so wild that I get to have that experience. But the chorus is, we change and we grow. We change and we grow. The world around is shifting all around. We all know. We can feel our voices lifting up. It's strange. We exchange all our time and all our daylight. It's all right. It's okay as the world is in transition. So like the message that everything is. God, it took me a while to think of those lyrics. It's a chorus that's very much about embracing that things change and you change and life changes, and that's okay. Like, I'm all right. I'm okay while the world is in transition. It's like one of my favorite lines that I've ever written. It was secretly Soup's way to scout out people to feature, and I did. I really actually did. People sent me their vocal recordings, and I was like, okay. So for Buskin, we're gonna have Hollow Ichigo, and we're gonna have Celia May, and we're gonna have like that is not an exaggeration. I did actually scout from those recordings, and if you ever send me a vocal recording for anything that I do, if I like your voice. I like all of your voices, but if I like your voice especially,
for like something specific that you're thinking of too.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Well, that's like Ghosty. Ghosty, who is also on Buskin. She's got like karaoke voice. Like she loves singing in karaoke, but she doesn't think she's a good singer. And I'm like, that's dumb. You're a great singer. And so I was like, and also, do you want to sing a song with me on Buskin? And she thankfully was like, yeah, I'll be brave and I'll do that. And God, her song on Buskin, it makes me weep. It's so pretty.
I love that.
The community participation in Soup's song is so, I'm missing the last word, is so good. It's so nice. Artists sitting in their houses don't have access to a group of capable musicians like I do. I feel like so privileged to be in this position where I can just be like, hey, I've got this chorus, like I got the shout chorus in Buskin' for Gas, the song, you know, where we are going, we ain't never gonna stop, gonna rock to the beat, to the beat, I don't know the words, I don't remember the words, I wrote the song like a year ago, and I can just reach out and I can be like, hey, here's the recording, go to your car with your cell phone and give it a shot, and I'll put it into the song. And I get to have these like really neat group vocal moments because I have the access to the community that we've been building over the last 4 or 5 years. So nice.
That's cool. I actually want to ask a little bit about. I know the pandemic happened 4 years ago and it's all over and it's all done with. But I have to ask, how did that?
Word. Say no more evil.
How did that like? It seems like you've been creating music for quite a while, producing music for quite a while. How did that community aspect like really shift for you, and when did it shift for you? I know streaming definitely had a part of it, but like, do you want to talk a little bit about that and like just how you created that community in isolation?
Right. I feel really lucky. The way that I always talk about it is that we sort of fell into a community. It has as much to do with doing, we do work at finding new people and fostering friendships, and I can say all the buzzwords, but like realistically right at the beginning of, well, not even the beginning of the pandemic, I've been streaming for 10 years, and I didn't start really trying to build community and trying to connect with people on Twitch until like whatever that was, March or April of 2020. Where I was like, well, I guess I'm not doing anything else. I suppose I should stream. And so I did, and I streamed a bunch, and I got affiliate, and that was like really wonderful. And like, I got really lucky. Somebody rated me because I was playing Final Fantasy 4, I want to say.
Wow.
And that person led me to meeting another person who led me to meeting the person that told me that I should do music on Twitch and not just play games. So glad that I listened. Their name is GS Sphere, and I'm so glad that I listened to them. GSFEARE. So sweet human encouraged me to do music on stream, and it really took off from there. I like started doing music, and I met a whole bunch of other creatives. And like at the same time that we were meeting these creatives, another community was sort of going through a like the sort of person that like was the head of the community, as it were, as they ever are in Twitch, was sort of like, doing very bad things and being very manipulative. And so like at the same time that their manipulation shit was going on, we were also coming into the space. And so this community over here sort of found us and like plopped into our Discord. It was like a transplant of like 100 people.
Wow.
And suddenly we just like had this tight-knit community of artists, creatives, musicians, game developers, like that we were just a part of, and just so happened to be hosted in a Discord server that like my name was on.
Yeah.
Like, it all feels so lucky and weird. And so so what was the question again? So that's like how we found, that's how we like fell into the community. And then remind me of the question.
You're okay, you're good. Yeah, it was just basically explain a little bit about what that transition was like, because it did seem like there was a transition, which you're doing. So it was more of a statement than, something that you can run with.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like, right. I think that the big thing about community in a general sense, not just on Twitch, is that, especially if you're surrounded by people who are doing a lot of the same things that you're doing and are interested in a lot of the same things that you're interested in, especially in a creative way.
Yeah.
There's really a lot of iron sharpens iron that goes on. And as long as you are, and this is the thing that I'll take credit for, and that Kaylin and I feel really strongly we can take credit for, is fostering a community where it was not competitive, where art and creativity is a mutual, we can be mutually excited about this thing.
Yeah.
Right? You can make your cool thing, and there's enough airtime, there's enough space for your thing to exist and my thing to exist. And there's no reason for us to, arm wrestle over attention. And so we're really, really lucky. The people that we got to know in that community encouraged Kaylin to continue crafting and encouraged her in a very practical way by purchasing the things that she was making, which allowed her to have the money to buy more materials, to experiment with more things. And here we are 4 years later, right? And they also encouraged me to continue to make music. They listened to the music that was crap. It was crap. When I first started, it was so bad. I like listened back to some of those songs and I'm like, man, I'm so glad that people were there to suffer through that. And they don't remember it that way. And bless Tori for being one of those people who doesn't remember it that way. I'm sure that they think that it was all really good, and I'm happy to disagree. And it was necessary. It was a necessary. The community was a necessary part of the growth of my art and the growth of Kaylin's art and the growth of the art of so many people in that community. Like, I still remember when Fetal joined the community. Fetal's art has excelled in amazing and incredible ways in the last 3 years that I've known Fetal.
Really cool.
Tori's video editing. Like, I've watched Tori grow as an editor like leaps and bounds since when they first opened up commissions. Like, I remember those first commissions.
So cool. I was there when the what was it, the chat I'm seeing, I was there when the scrolls were written.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I don't have to quote the old lore at Tori was there. And like, but it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't just, it was also us. Like, I released What Changed, and that paved the way for me to be able to make many, many other pieces of music that are personally meaningful and are meaningful to people outside of my body, which is a wild experience that I will never get used to. People will connect with these musings of mine, is just like so cool and so wild. Hey, whoa, yeah, all right, I know. I'm gonna fire at all of my best friends. That's just, deal with it.
You gotta do that.
I get to talk.
Yep.
I have the microphone.
Yep.
Yeah, community has been so core and essential to the growth, and there's like a benefit of having a sort of built-in audience. Like, that's nice. There are many artists that I see out there that are really, really wonderful musicians and write really amazing, moving music. One of them that comes to mind immediately, there's an artist on Spotify named Theo, who just came out with a brand new album, and it's amazing.
Really?
It's incredible.
Okay.
And they got like 80 monthly listeners. Like, they need so much more. They need so much more platform. It's so good. They have such a beautiful voice, and not just like in a like they sing pretty kind of way, but like also in what they're writing about. They're writing about being queer and being trans and
Wow, that's
having that
cool.
identity. And it's like it's so important. The music is so important. And like having the built-in audience is fine and dandy and wonderful, but it really is the people that come alongside you in community and say, even on your worst days, keep going because you will find your place. You'll find your place.
Yeah.
We have faith in you. And that's like, oh, so essential, so central, so core.
Yeah.
Let me find this. Let me find this artist for you.
Yeah, let me permit you.
I liked their stuff a million years ago. I'm feeling like a real OG about them. Because I really think that they're just gonna like, somebody's gonna catch them and they're gonna blow right up. There's no way. Their voice is too pretty. Their songwriting is too good.
I am a healer. I am healing. Well said. Well said.
Yeah. Here it is. Theo. Artist.
Let's hope this
good. Oh, you know what? They have a lot more monthly listeners since the last time I checked.
Oh, good. I was looking for the 80 and I was like, where? I can't find it.
No, that's them. That's them. They came out with an album like I mean, not even like a couple of months ago, called Casually Vulnerable. And it's just
cool.
It's slamming. It's so much fun. They have a really beautiful voice.
That's exciting. Yeah. All right, I'm going to check them out.
Yeah, do it.
Cool.
Everyone needs to listen to this. I feel like I'm on the ground floor. I got really lucky. They came up on my Spotify discovery, and I listened to their one song, and I was like, "Shut up! This is really good."
No, there are a couple of artists that were like that for me as well, and I mean, that's what I love about doing the work that I do is that I get shown all these really, really cool artists that nobody's heard of yet, and it's like not only do I get to hear them and be some of the first people to hear them, I get to like talk about it and talk to those people sometimes, and then, you know, sometimes they blow up, and then that's really cool to see too.
Yeah,
so,
you get to be a part of that journey, which is so neat.
No, it's super cool. It's one of my favorite things about doing what I do.
So it's so necessary too. Like and just like as a person who I've had to be my own promoter for now years and years. Thank you. Thank you for being a voice for people who don't have as strong a presence. That's just so important.
It's so hard right now. Like the world of musicians and creatives, you have to be a content creator now too, supposedly, to succeed. It's so true. It's kind of seeming like it's transitioning, like I was saying, but you know, like I think everybody's just getting fed up with, I don't want to be a content creator. I want to just create music, or I just want to create art, or I just want to craft, or whatever it is. So, you know, hopefully that'll be a catalyst for change, or create something for somebody else to help other people, and, you know, community over competition, all that. But keep going.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, totally. Yeah. And being able to create spaces of community that allow people to succeed together.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I do wonder, like, in a very meta way, like we were talking earlier about people wanting to connect with a person rather than connecting with a genre or a song or whatever. I think that that's like such a true statement because of the social media content creator presence. I think about God, I know that his first name is Carson. I'm not thinking the guy who did Dirt Man, right? Everybody who's been on TikTok knows we're guys. We keep a little dirt under our pillow for the Dirt Man, right? You've heard this.
No, I don't. I live under a rock. I live under a rock.
Yeah.
But
someone in chat finish the phrase. For
okay, please do.
But he made this like stupid, goofy song, which of course he is like a musician who, you know, writes music that, you know, is meaningful to him and is releasing albums and singles and things like that aren't comedy. Like, quote, and I'm going to put this in big quotations, serious music, right? Like the delineation that artists make between the music that they make for content and the music that they make for like publishing for themselves. It's the difference between Devin Henderson and Soopurkul, right? And I wonder about, like, I hope that his albums are performing well, because Dirt Man got hundreds of millions of hits. But that's not his gig. His gig isn't Dirt Man.
What is
his
it?
His gig is his other music, his personal music.
Right.
You know, like, and is it doing well? Is this, I don't know. I haven't.
Do you know what his artist name is, or what their
I
project is?
don't see, and this is the problem: is that
Okay,
I'm
I'm
over
gonna
here.
Google it.
I'm part of the issue. I'm part of the problem. That like Dirtman came out, and I know Dirtman backwards, forwards, and sideways, and I've thought about doing a duet to Dirtman, but I've never looked at this guy's personal music.
Name is Carter Vale. Let's look at it.
Carter Vale. That's what it is. Carter.
534,000 monthly listeners.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and
That's
then
great.
yeah, the Dirtman has 5 million on there. That's cool. I have to check it out. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm going to add a couple of the stuff to our listening party playlist for those who want to check it out. I'm going to add Carter Vale's Dirtman for those who need that. And then it was, hang on, I lost the link already. I knew I would lose the link. Theo. I'm going to add Veggie Soup.
Veggie Soup is the one.
Okay.
That's the song.
Okay. I'm going to add Veggie
That's
Soup.
the song. Yes. 5 million people trying to outsmart the Dirtman. Don't worry. To all of my non-binary friends, you don't have to worry about the dirt under your pillow. The Dirtman only comes after guys. So if you consider yourself a guy, you don't have to, a little dirt under your pillow will be fine. What about Tree? Is Tree serious music? I think Tree is serious. Yeah, Oleo and Tree is quote serious music. Yeah, I would say. I would say Oleo and Tree does what I would consider to be my non-goofy music. Although I will freely admit that there is a song. It's not out. It's coming out with the album whenever that comes out. But it's coming out with the album that does have at least 3 puns because I can't stop myself from writing puns. There's a song that is Tree's song where one of the lines is I've been stumped.
Oh my gosh.
And then I'm being gripped by my roots. It's all an allegory to being stuck in the past, but like
That's great.
But yeah.
It works.
Because I can't stop myself.
That's funny. Oh my goodness.
You just write what's on your heart, right? That's
yeah.
A tree after my own heart.
Well, going back
yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, I was also just gonna close out this little thought with saying it's very important that we, not as just music makers, but also community people and promoters, and that we're finding the people who need the lift, and we're giving them the lift, because when they win, we win.
Yeah, totally. And then also to just like backpack on that, although like really big celebrities, they're known for being personalities, and they have like makeup lines and fashion lines and music and all sorts of stuff. So why can't we do it? That's kind of just what I'm thinking. It's like, yeah, sure, totally. It's harder because not as many people know us, but you could create that branding identity with something like social media, and I feel like it's almost easier in a way to be able to do that as long as your presence as a person, as a personality, and people know who you are. Like, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
I didn't know where the end of that sentence was going to go, but that was it.
No, yeah, it's super important, big, small, medium, to make the effort. And
right.
The effort is valuable in and of itself.
Yes.
For
totally.
Sure.
Cool. Well, any additional thoughts? We could talk about the album just a little bit more, but as time passed,
like every album.
Yeah, we've talked about every album. But as time passed is coming out on September 6th, I have the pre-order link pinned in the chat for you guys, and I also have a timer in the chat if you guys miss the pinned link. So if you guys need to know where the link is, it's right there. Yeah, more details to come, I'm assuming. So yeah. The pre-order link is $7. You get 2 songs right now. It's Mixed or Brightside and One More Day, which are both super summery, super cute, like very high energy, positive songs, wonderful songs to dance to shop for groceries to do your chores to. I highly encourage it. When the album does come out on September 6th, it'll be fully out on Bandcamp, of course. If you've done the pre-order, the pre-sale, it'll immediately all become available to you. It'll send you an email and everything like that if you've got your email all set up. It'll send you an email. You can download the whole album the moment that it releases. It will also be out on September 6th in all of the streaming spaces, YouTube, Spotify. All the things.
Tidal, Napster, probably. That is That's the album. That's the album that we're here for today. Yeah. Um, yeah, As Time Passes is really fun. I really wanted to get back into the EDM space. I wanted to take some of the sort of like lyric writing techniques that I had learned while I was on the road recording Buskin, and apply them to an EDM space. See if I could tell these smaller stories in that setting. And I feel like I succeeded sometimes, and then, you know, in that album, sometimes the lyrics are a little esoteric, and that's fine. Could mean anything to anyone. I challenge any of you, when the album comes out, the song Escape Pod, which is the 6th track on the album. I challenge you to, I'll post the lyrics when I post the whole album, to go through those lyrics and you tell me what that song is about.
Ooh, cool.
Because I'm not sure that I know what that song is about.
I love that when that happens, whenever you're writing and you're just like, yeah, I don't know what this means, but it feels like it means something.
It feels good.
It feels good.
Yeah, it feels good. That song feels gritty. It feels a little sad, but I'm not entirely sure what those lyrics mean. Oh, hello, Gardamus.
Hi,
You've never
Gardamus.
met before. Brand new person to my life, Gardamus. It's about Buskin, yeah.
It's about Buskin.
Escape Pod is about the album Buskin.
Also, is it going to be on LimeWire?
Is it going to be on LimeWire? I don't think so. I don't think that they deliver LimeWire.
It was a joke.
I don't know.
It was a joke.
It delivers to anyone who hosts music. I don't know. It's not my decision. I pay them $10 to not think about it. Is it LimeWire like the pirating site? Yeah, it's like a proxy hosting site.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Napster used to be that way, and they're not anymore. I don't know. Maybe LimeWire went legit.
I didn't know that, but I thought LimeWire got shut down. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Spotify pays an estimated 0.001 of a penny per play, per stream.
None for up to 1,000 streams per song.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You have to get over 1,000. Yeah. Right.
Now
exactly.
you do, as of this year. Yeah. Yay.
Delicious. And Tidal, which is the service that I actually listen through. I don't listen. I
like
Spotify
Tidal
anymore because they kept raising their prices. And
yeah.
I'm like, I'm out. Tidal is less expensive and you get better audio quality. Tidal pays, I think it's 0.007 or 0.008, which is like an incredible increase in pay per stream, and they don't have that 1,000 stream limit.
Yep.
Napster pays 0.013 pennies.
Wow.
They are the best payer per play of a song. They're also the most expensive to go listen.
Yeah.
So if you're a homie and you've got the extra cash per month and you want to make your favorite artist a little bit more cash per stream, Napster apparently is the place. But Tidal, go listen.
Tidal's good. Yeah. I like Tidal.
You like Tidal.
Yeah.
Tidal is the platform that supports artists in the way that artists want to be supported.
While still having enough, like, I don't know too much about Napster, but I know that Tidal has like that financial big corporation kind of backing that, I mean, as much as corporations and all that, blah, 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 we don't need to go there.
Right.
But, you know, like, they try to do good. That's what they try to do. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Huge shout out to Likewise for my middle school playlist.
Is it LimeWire?
Yeah.
LimeWire? Yeah, LimeWire. I think I still have some of the CDs.
Yeah.
Just the burned discs. You burned those discs.
I'm such a goody two shoes. So I did have LimeWire as a teenager to download albums, but I didn't illicitly download rock albums. Like there were orchestral albums that I really wanted that weren't available in the US. They were only available in the UK.
Oh, okay.
And I'd go and I'd download those because I wanted to listen to the Berlin Symphony live in Berlin, 1978, with Zubin Mehta. Like that's what I wanted to listen to, and so I would go and I'd LimeWire. I'd LimeWire Mahler's Fifth Symphony. You know, like that's who I was as a teenager.
I did not have LimeWire, but I had one friend at one time who was like, "Here, have these CDs." I had no idea where they came from, but I'm assuming they came from LimeWire.
Right.
Because they were like the custom mixtapes.
Yeah.
with the Sharpie and everything. Yeah.
Playlisting is so the
playlisting.
Of our generation. I love playlisting. Making playlists is actually, when I have the time and energy to do it, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
I love finding songs that puzzle piece together.
Yeah, like mood-wise, and I don't know if I'm very good at it, but here I am doing it.
I mean, like, yeah, I was about to say, this is a thing that you, like, do. No. You do a great job.
Yeah, and I mean, whatever I'm not doing, we have other people that help us out that, like, are very, very, very talented, so we're very lucky.
That's so awesome.
Mm.
Yeah, As Time Passed is just to, like, finalize that thought, it's a 9-track album. It's just a little guy. I think that, like, the Wikipedia definition of an album is, like, 8+ songs. I was like, we made it past the cut for Wikipedia.
That's great.
So definitely go get that pre-order. Know that I appreciate it. The best way to support your favorite artists is to go and buy their music on an independent company like Bandcamp if they're selling it somewhere. That's
and
the
do
way
they
that
have
they're
something
gonna get
like
the
No
most
Fee
money.
Fridays or something?
Yeah, Bandcamp Fridays. It's the first Friday of the month every month, which actually is coming up pretty soon here.
There you go.
It's like in 2 days. So if
this Friday, pre-order, you get no fees. Pre-order on Friday.
I'll get the vast majority of that money.
There you go.
Here, let me actually look. Bandcamp Friday. They have a website called isitbandcampfriday.com.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the next Bandcamp Friday is, it's actually the next Bandcamp Friday is September 6th, the day that the album comes out. There you go. They're skipping this.
That was on
month.
purpose, wasn't it?
Why. Yeah, I totally planned that. I didn't just select the closest date that wasn't directly interfering with Oleo and Tree's third and final single releasing on August the 23rd. We're not here for that. We're not here for that band.
Well, so are you going to be continuing to release stuff under Devin? Because I know we talked about you being multiple projects, multiple things. Have you been working on the next thing for Devin?
I have not been really working on the next thing for Devin Henderson. Not yet. I think that I worked in the last, 7 months. I've been working really, really hard on Oleo and Tree. It's been my main focus. It's been my main project for this year. Oleo and Tree, for what it's worth, is going to continue as far as I know. Oleo Tree is not going anywhere. We're going to keep writing music. We have like I said, we have a third single coming out in late August. We have an album that's in the works. I would say that album currently has 11 or 12 tracks. It's going to have more than that. We have a couple of ideas that we've been tossing around that are going to continue to expand that. So that's been my main focus. In the last 2 months, I've worked really hard to make sure that As Time Passed is ready to ship. So going back and making sure that everything is mastered and mixed the way that I like it, and all of the details are just so. For this album has been a big focus of the Devin Henderson property. The next project for Devin Henderson is a good question. It's a good question. Do you
have any ideas?
Yeah, so many.
Of course you do, but do you have any specifically to Devin?
I would love to do another singer-songwriter album. That's something that really interests me. I think that starting that journey, I don't know. Let me give you a really long kind of bad answer.
That's fine. We're here. We're here chatting. We can hang out as long as you want.
Devin Henderson, the artist. I typically write based on how I'm feeling. It's not that I wait for inspiration. I sort of do show up and just write every day.
That's good. That's
I write
really
a little something
healthy.
every day. But I don't know that there's a specific genre that's pulling me in any direction. I don't know that there's a specific message that I'm wanting to send. And part of that is because I'm putting a lot of energy and effort into Oleo and Tree, for sure. And most of
Yeah.
the messages that I'm thinking about and wanting to send are coming through that direction. But I don't stop writing. I like haven't stopped writing for myself in the meantime. Um, so the next Devin Henderson album might be another Buskin. It might be another singer-songwriter album. That does sound fun. That sounds nice. I don't know what I'd write about, but I'm sure I'd find something.
Yeah.
Um,
Sounds like it.
the next album might be more electronic music. The next album might be a ska album. I don't know. I don't know.
That could be
I've
interesting.
been really digging the ska. I released a ska, like a 4-track ska EP at the beginning of the year. I go back to that ska EP and I listen to it all the time. But I think that if I'm gonna do whatever I'm gonna do, and this is how I'll sum up, so it's not such a bad answer. Whatever I do, I want to gear the next album towards something I can take on the road, and that I can go and I can perform in front of people. My next big effort for Devin Henderson is to go and perform. I'm happy with what I have written. I'm happy with what I've put out. I've put out a lot of music in 4 years. I think that it might be time for me to slow down on writing personal music and go out and take it and show it to some people that don't know it yet. It might be time for me to just advertise what I have and enjoy what I have and bask in some of these really, really great, powerful songs that I have written myself or with my friends. And go and take that out on the road. So
That could be
that's where
cool.
Devin Henderson is happening next.